on the Slido, and we will collect them. The next speaker is Johannes Reicherl, is project manager at the Energy Institute of the Johannes Kepler University in Linz in Austria. He is an applied statistical researcher, and his current research focuses on the development of energy efficiency measures and the quantification of energy savings from such measures. Johannes?
Thank you. I'm coming from an Austrian research institution. My name is Johannes Reicherl, and today I may present to you outcomes of a project that is called PEAKapp. And PEAKapp is the Personal Energy Administration Kiosk application. So you already guessed right that it is a smartphone application that we have developed. And our way of empowering and engaging consumers was to connect to provide consumers an interface for their energy consumption and in particular to their electricity smart metering data. For us, it was very important to have a zero investment approach of empowering consumers. We wanted to give them access to, well, the energy transition without the need of making any investments, so that we could take all these people on board that felt a bit left behind before because they were not able in like investments before. So I said we've developed an app. Very briefly, we had a lot of functionalities that we provided to these people, exploiting their smart meter data, some of them a bit more basic, like of course we provided them information about their energy consumption in monetary terms, in terms of CO2, but also of course in kilowatt hours. But we also had some I believe, more and very innovative ways of engaging the people. For example, we have regularly sent them push messages when there was a lot of sun and wind electricity in the European grids, and told them, for example, tomorrow from 12 to 3 p.m. there will be a lot of sun out there, and you get a discount of 50% on every kilowatt hour that you consume in that time, to see whether people were ready to take an action and change their behavior. And we have tested this app over 18 months, actually, in the end it was, with more than 3,500 Europeans from 4 different countries. Actually, we exceeded our target of 2,500 users quite significantly, and I will now briefly report on the results that basically just came in now, because our project ends by the end of this month. And I will report on the results of the Austrian field test, because there we had a setting that I believe is quite exceptional with respect to the scientific thoroughness. We have recruited about 1,600 Austrian households, and I have divided them randomly into 3 groups. Each of the group got a different set of functionalities, including one group that did not get anything, but allowed us just to record their smart meter data so that we could compare what these like non-serviced households would do in comparison to the households that got our app. And from the results from these 18 months of field testing, we could derive quite a number of results. One of the first result is that, of course, not all people will use an app and engage with it over the whole period of 18 months. But we had a quote of 20% people that stayed active till the very end of our field tests, and I believe that 20% is quite a good ratio. We call them the heavy users, and for these heavy users we saw that they decreased their energy consumption by about 7% over our field test, and whenever we sent them a push message to increase their electricity consumption during a specific time to consume mostly renewable electricity, they have increased their energy consumption by about 8%, which even on the average over all 1,000 households still remains a positively significant increase of about 1%. So people are obviously willing to change their behavior based on price signals, and they do so for a continuous time. Another result is, most importantly for electricity retailers, the churn rates of those groups that were provided with the app decreased by about 33%. So if people get this direct connection to their energy provider, like through such an app, then they will stay as a partner of this energy utility much longer than others do. We also provided households a mechanism to compare their own consumption to the consumption of other but comparable households. And we actually see that those households that belonged to the households with low energy efficiency increased actually their energy efficiency quite significantly. So this is also a mechanism that obviously engages people with their energy consumption. And as a last result that I want to share with you, we wanted to test whether households can actually function as supporters of balancing the grid. So on the 25th of September last year at 6 p.m. we sent them a push message and told them, if you decrease your energy consumption over the next 15 minutes by at least 50%, then you will get a reward. The reward was varying to have some additional experimental variation. And we provided these push messages to about 1,000 of our households, and 40% of them actually achieved their saving targets. So this is an extremely high number of response. And what we saw then in the load profiles, which was very impressive to us, is most people did not just like switch off, I don't know, their dishwasher or their television, but most people actually got to the main electricity switch in their house and kicked it out for 15 minutes. So they decided to take a rather radical step to make sure that they have achieved what target we did set them. So, as a closing statement, I would say that we often hear that in particular households are somewhat a passive mass, just absorbing the electricity tariffs that are provided through them through different companies. But we got the impression that households are very, very ready to act. They just need the right tools to do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Johannes. I'm impressed by the app. I'm also impressed by the scientific approach to the testing. I think that's quite